Hello and welcome to the Live Reality Games podcast. My name is Steven, and I'm excited today to talk about an upcoming game running its third season, Who is the Mole, the live game. Joining me today to talk about this game and tease it a little bit is three different members of the production team. First, Dr. Jamie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Stephen. I am Jamie. I am one of the co-hosts of Who is the Mole, the live game, and I am super excited to be here.
Missy, you played in the first season of Who is the Mole, and now you are back on production. Can you talk about yourself, please?
Yeah, hi. I am season one mole. As you can see, head bitch in charge at this point. I'm and I returned. So last season and this season to help production and hospitality and just to generally be there to keep shit together because that's
It's really interesting that she went from destroying the season one cast to then helping and being the head of hospitality of the season 2 and 3 cast.
We had to counterbalance Missy being the season one mole by bringing back the season one winner, Tyler. Tyler, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm excited. We had an eclipse today, and what better way to wrap up the day and talk about a mole game?
Yeah, exactly. It's exciting stuff.
Well, for viewers and listeners who maybe aren't familiar with what the mole is, would you all like to explain how the game works?
Yeah, I can take that one. So sort of like the core of it is that it is a group of strangers or a group of people competing together in a series of tasks. So each round of our game, you can generally expect 2 or so tasks. So they're competing together in these series of tasks for money for a group pot that in the end, one person is going to win. But among those players, one person will be the mole. The mole is a person who is a saboteur who will work insidiously against the group's efforts and want them to fail at all of these tasks. So it'll be the player's individual goal to figure out who the mole is and what they're up to, because at the end of each round of play, so after every couple of tasks, each of the players will independently take a quiz about the identity and actions of the mole. And the person who scores the lowest on that quiz will, in very dramatic fashion, with a lot of flair and really intense music, get eliminated or what we call executed from the game.
Now, Tyler, you end up discovering that Missy's the mole season one. When did you find that out?
The very last quiz. I had a lot of luck that came into my game. I won't sit here and pretend like I knew it. I was fully convinced it was absolutely anybody but Missy until she was quite literally the only option left for me. So I had a lot of luck that played into my victory. But once I did figure it out, it was game on from that point on.
he spent the
impressive memory.
Because he does. That's one thing about Tyler. One very interesting is he has like this ridiculous memory that he can look at something. I don't even want to call it. I feel like it's calling it a photographic memory doesn't even give it like it's due, because he spent the whole last task literally going through my dossier and writing notes on me because he had ripped my page out of his dossier or out of his book like round 2 or something. He didn't know any of that stuff until that's when he did it, was that whole last and still competing.
Yeah.
But that's why I like the duality of Tyler and Missy, because Missy really did so amazing as the mole throughout the game, and then Tyler with that such phenomenal memory kind of snatched the win at the very end, kind of last second. It's really impressive kind of on both your ends.
Yeah, victory was definitely not in the cards for me with the way that I was playing. I got very lucky. But it's a good time. It's a fun game, and I never thought that I would play a game like this, let alone win one, and then continue to be a part of helping produce and put the games together. I help out with putting a lot of the challenges and the tasks together. That's kind of what I really like to do. And so that's the fun part for me now. The first season I got to play, and now I get to kind of stay behind the scenes and help design the challenges, and try to figure out how these players can figure out who the mole is, and even play along myself. That's one of my favorite things to do, is kind of play along with the players.
So beyond having a very successful season 1 winner in Mole and altogether cast and a season 2 cast, we can't erase them. What, looking back at your past seasons and this upcoming season, what would you say are some successes and things you're looking to continue or maybe change up for this next season?
I'd say for me, one of the big things, even going into this, was I really wanted to, 2 parts. So I really wanted to create a very authentic mole game. Both me and my co-host Spencer, who's not here, but he'll obviously be at the game. We are pure long-term from the beginning mole fans. Like, we want to create like a truly authentic and immersive mole experience. So if you are a mole fan, like, this is a great game for you. So it's going to feel very true to you. It's going to feel intensive. You'll have like some assignments that in some ways will feel close to something that you would see on the show, but more so it's going to like evoke that sort of sentiment. A lot of our challenges are very cerebral, but you'll have physical stuff, you'll have mental stuff, you'll have some kind of goofy stuff, but it's going to feel like you're having like a truly immersive experience there. The quiz process, the execution process, it is very kind of streamlined to what you would experience at an actual mole game. So authenticity is one part, but the other part is like we really, really try our best to like make sure every player has a very full experience and that everyone feels like they're part of a community that we're trying to build here. So that is, whether you're the first person executed, whether you are the winner or the mole, we really want everyone to have a full time. So that means like making sure people are included in ways that are appropriate and that fit with what we're going for in the season, included in lots of different types of assignments in different ways. I can't speak to what exactly that's going to look like this season yet, but trust and believe that in different ways, people will still continue to be included in lots of different things. So for instance, last season we had a completely separate from the main group pot and executed player pot where one person who was eliminated from the game actually won, I think, a couple $100 or so at the end of the season. So that's a big part of it for me, building a community and making sure people feel included, regardless of their placement.
So I know you can't give away all the secrets, but what can you maybe tease or talk about that we can expect to see in season 3?
There will be more than 3 production members. I can tell you that.
Well, I can show something. Should I show that now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go for it.
So I do think we always have like really cool stuff. Like I said, we always create like an authentic experience for the players. So I think that includes like the products that we give them. So I think we always have really cool journals, but I think we kind of have gone above and beyond this time. So this time we have 2 different journal designs that the players might get. You'll get one of the 2. So this time here is the first one that you might get. Ooh, and I don't know if you can tell, but these are actually pretty big. Like, this is the size of my hand. Like, they're pretty big. So, and then also I kind of like the name of it is on the spine, and yeah, they're pretty high quality. So that's one. So we have a green design, and then we have a red design.
Now, as a player, would you rather have a green or red design? Is it fading yourself for an execution if you pick the red design? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too superstitious about it.
All I will say is season 1, there was a curse that didn't have anything to do with journals. It actually had to do with people randomly took their quizzes with Spencer or I. Season 1, there was a curse. Basically, if you took your quiz with Spencer, you were going to get executed.
But season 2
was true, right? I'm not just making that up.
No, yeah. It was funny. After a while, it was almost like surreal. Then we were like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. They're going to go home." And it was like, "Okay, you come and take it with me," and people would say, "No, I'm not taking my quiz with Spencer."
But yeah, what are I don't want to monopolize the time. So what else should people look for?
Here, so just for reference, because the binders that or the journals that Jamie just showed, they're a big upgrade. Not that the ones we had in season 1 were bad, but this is what we had in season 1. I still have mine. Number 10, and it was a green journal. And they're not very big. I mean, you can see
And
my
they're
hand
still
is
nice,
bigger than
like
this.
they're
They
hardcover.
are.
It was really nice to write
Yeah.
on. I'm just
They're
like,
very, very nice journals.
Well, this is because season 4, you're gonna have really tiny journals to really maximize the challenge, right?
Yeah.
or All Stars, you get one that's the size of a stamp.
Yeah, but I will say, I can say a little bit more about things to expect in game, maybe. So I kind of see where we are at and Who is the Mole. My idea, I want to continue Who is the Mole as long as people want to play it. I love this game. I love the Mole. It's like my biggest passion project. As long as people want to play, I want to keep hosting. But we have said, full disclosure, that maybe season 4 will be All Stars if we can get the cast that we would want. So I kind of envision where we are at as like the first evolution of the game. So you might see some things that you've seen before, maybe in terms of some of like the twists on the game. And we always do something a little new. So, I think I can say that much.
I will say it's the way I explain it to Jamie, because I'm playing and involved with other mole games, is every game is different. Like they have their own little thing. And I always tell Jamie, I feel like Who is the Mole is like the Dungeons and Dragons, like the very like intense get into it type of mole game. It is, and nothing, like every game has its place. And I feel like, to me, having played other ones, watching other ones going on, it's, I don't want to say next level, but there's a lot going on, and it's so much fun when you're in the middle of it. It's like, even when you're stressed out, like to the point, I mean, I was the damn mole and I was stressed out. Like,
no, I can the time as the mole, I was very stressed out too. So I feel that.
Yeah. Like, so yeah, you just know that it's just, there's a lot, and it is very authentic. It's you get in there and you cannot believe that you've just spent 40 minutes trying to do something because you were so into it, and I'm getting this done. And like Tyler said, the other thing is you can have somebody who's had the mole right since the first day, and they still might not win.
I mean, we haven't had that yet.
Right, but that's how a mole game is. Somebody could have, the first person that's right is not necessarily the first person that's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about the mole, because it gives everybody a chance. Because some people are better at certain things than other people. This gives everybody a chance. If you're good at puzzles, if you're good at physical things, if you're, there's something for everybody.
It truly could be anybody's game at any point. So one thing I would always say to a prospective player of any mole game is never, ever count yourself out. Until your red thumbprint comes up and you're executed, consider yourself a viable option to win.
Mm-hmm.
I like too about the mole compared to other things is you don't know how you ended that round. So that's good and bad. You might be on the wrong track and you're going to be overly confident that you're on the right track, you're just still around, but you just never know with the mole. And I love that. I just love that you go blind until you're gone.
Can I give a statistic for our players for this season who might be watching out there?
I do like statistics. Please share.
I believe this is a true fact. 8 of our 10 players eliminated before the finals last time were eliminated with scores of 0.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, this is a little off track. I feel like when I watch fan mole games, there's such a, people are in a hurry to all in on people. Like, and I think at least Jamie, you and I have talked about this a lot. There's such value to splitting your answers. So
Yeah.
To a point, though.
To a
Because
point,
then
yes.
I
You have to
watch
commit
people-
eventually.
Well,
I've watched games, especially where I'm yelling at like YouTube, but watching these episodes going, it's like round 8. Why are you still splitting between 6 people? Like, you know, so
yeah, well, I think it leads to what I was sharing earlier about the, so many people getting eliminated with scores of 0, because I get it, I think it's human nature for us to automatically look for that evidence to support our theories or ideas. But the truth is, if we look for evidence to support what we already think, we will always find it. You will always find the evidence that supports what you already think. If I could give a piece of advice to like someone who is interested in the mole, it would be look for evidence that supports why you're wrong. What's this harder to do?
But if you enjoy confirmation bias, boy, do we have the game for you.
This is the game for you.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tyler, you kind of gave us some advice already, but as a winner and player of this series, what other advice could you have to a potential player?
Oh, keep an open mind. I mean, the worst thing that I could have done, and I did it, was tell myself that I was right. I mean, I was dead set for 10 out of 11 rounds that I was correct. I was on the right path. I figured it out. That was it for me. And I was wrong. I didn't realize it until the end. And looking back, there were so many things that, like Jamie just said, I was looking for evidence as to why I was right, and I found it. And I completely ignored everything else that was right there in front of me about Missy. I mean, literally, there was one assignment she threw, and everything that she was supposed to do, she did, and she got everything incorrect. And I was sitting right beside her the whole time. And in my mind, I was like, oh, Missy that was an accident. She did. It's okay. I had fully told myself, oh, this other person did it on purpose. Missy's was an accident. So I think the worst thing that somebody can do is tell themselves that they're right. Always look for every possibility. Everybody's a contender. Everybody can be the mole. Don't shut yourself out to one specific thing until you can, like Jamie said, if you're looking for evidence as to why you're wrong and it's not there, then maybe you're onto something.
Now, on the flip side, Missy, what makes a mole successful, and what advice do you have for any future moles out there?
The first thing I always tell people is you go into this game as you're a player. Keep it in your head that you're a player. Do not, because that's authentic. When I'm playing a game, people know. And we do know, obviously in any casting, you try to not have many connections, but in the community, you know of people, or people, and they know of you. So if you are a certain way, don't act different. Don't act different. Act like yourself. Be yourself. And also let other people mess around. I will tell you, I probably didn't have to do anything the first 6 rounds because there were so many people, acting up and sabotaging and doing all these things. And, you can just watch who's doing that and just kind of put yourself in the same place as these people are. I mean, that's why I kind of had Tyler a little bit, because I knew where Tyler was going with his votes most rounds because we were sharing. So I would make sure to insert myself there the next round if we had to group up together. So if he guessed the other person, what group was the mole in, 1, 2, or 3, I went with the person who I knew he was going to guess because he thought he was right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, don't be afraid to do stuff. Don't be afraid to throw things. Don't be afraid to try things. Just something simple like using the two-way radios. When it was my turn, I just turned the volume all the way down. And so they're like, nobody's talking to us. What's going on? What's going on?
I'm kind of surprised you didn't smash it against the wall.
Well, but I mean, so that's something you can do in front of. You have to be fearless, that's for sure.
I mean,
And
one of my favorite things you did like very early on was like in one of the running assignments, like every time that like someone would go out running, you would just start complaining about them. Like, why are they taking so damn
yeah.
long? Like, what's wrong with them?
it was Kirk. Where the hell is Kirk? Where is Kirk? Why is Kirk down at the end of the like really loudly? Just because you can and you plant stuff in people's heads, and this is not giving away any. I mean, you've been a mole, you've played the mole. People are paranoid. People will jump onto anything because they want to be right. So as the mole, it's just my job to keep telling them, you are right. I think you are right. Oh my gosh, you're right. Did somebody earlier say like Kirk was down at the end of the driveway for a very long time? They're like, nobody was like, yeah, it was you, bitch. Like that was like, oh, you're right. He was, just little things like that. Like you can't be afraid to just do it. Like we had one where you had to go out in the woods and look for these certain wooden blocks in the woods. The first wooden block I find, I just throw it. It's still out there somewhere in the Hocking Hills of Ohio. I just threw the wood back to its like ancestral family in the woods. And that was an easy little, but I still knew where one was at, so then I could come back with one, but I just, little things like that, just have fun with it. And, but as a player, those are things that you might never see.
Yeah. Can I share something that I just think is kind of a beautiful thing, but also kind of a warning to the players at the same time?
Yeah.
Like if I were doing a character study of people, I don't know a much more different personality types than Missy Bird, Logan, who is our season 2 mole, and Steven. And yet, like, the three of you are all very successful moles. So, like, that tells me that, like, there is no distinct personality type to look for as far as being the mole. Like, Missy is very brash and outspoken, and I love her for it. Logan is very, gregarious and charming and lovely. And Steven is very, on the nerdy side and very softer spoken and very well read. And you're just very different people. So, but very successful at the same time. So, it just shows that like very different people can pull off this role. Just a thought. And
there's a very good team. That's one of the best things about being in hospitality is I don't know. You know what I mean? Last season watching from the kitchen, not knowing who the mole was so much fun because there was no stress of me being eliminated, but I was still able to guess and play and watch things. So it's fascinating just to watch. People just watching it is incredible. And like Tyler, you can go back in your head later on and say, oh, well, oh, that, and that. Or, I would just leave my journal while I went to the bathroom. I'd leave it sitting on the arm of a chair, and walk away for a minute. So, yeah. I mean, come on. This is one of the things I am most proud of. My journal is full of notes. Like literally, I took more notes than most of the people that were playing because it was authentic and just leave it sitting. Just little stuff like that. But then you've got 4 other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing at the same time. And it's incredible. What is the first thing Jamie said to me when they said Missy's the mole? And how did you do it? And I said, you people like did it for me. And Jamie's like, are you going to gaslight them? Is that how you do it? But they do it. They do it. And so you never know if it's somebody sabotaging or if it's actually the mole.
Who's to say, really?
Right. Maybe it's a little bit from A, a little bit from B.
Well, is there any last things y'all want to talk about this upcoming season as we wrap up here?
Did you want me to cover like
I'm
where?
so damn excited for it.
Well,
Well, so as we wrap up, I think let's talk about some logistics. So,
yeah,
Dr. Jamie, where can people find and follow this game?
So there's Who is the Mole, the live game Facebook group. That is going to be the main place to follow us. This season, we are doing a lot more live streaming of it. So our goal is to live stream most of the assignments this time around. So we're going to live stream a lot more things. We have a prod member. Funny enough, it'll be last season's mole, Logan, live streaming most of the tasks this season. And we will live stream every execution ceremony as well. And the other thing that is new is we are going to have for the first time a viewer chat. So I will post as we get closer, because we're still a week and a half out, some like information about how to get added to a viewer chat for the game. So you can follow along in both of those places.
And that's a good thing to remind people. The best way to know, you can turn on a setting in the Facebook group so it'll say, you know, Who is the Mole, the live game is live. But in a viewer chat, I appreciate the, hey, we're going to go live in probably 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, you know, everybody gets the heads up and can come in and watch and they won't miss it.
Jamie, what days will your game run through?
It'll be April 18th to the 22nd, but it really ends the night of the 21st.
Okay. And so roughly what hours do you expect the players will be going from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or what, or how hard will you be running the players in this game?
Yeah, so everyone will arrive next Thursday, the 18th, but the game itself won't start the 18th, but we will have our cast reveal because our cast is not public yet. So our cast reveal will be that Thursday night. We'll do a live or we'll reveal everyone. The game itself will be Friday through Sunday. It'll be basically 8 a.m., starting 8 a.m. each day, Friday and Saturday. It'll go to about probably 7 to 8 p.m. Sunday will end significantly earlier. Sunday will probably be done by 4 or 5.
Do you see my laugh when Jamie said probably like just 7 or 8?
Well, I can only say so much.
I'm just saying, that's the other great thing about it is you just never know. You just literally never know how long.
It won't go as late as some other games.
Jamie and I may be veteran of the game that kept us up until early in the morning. What can we say?
Yeah.
Well, any last things you want to talk about the game, this upcoming season? Anything at all?
I just think it is going to be a really wonderful season. I'm not just saying that. I really think so. Like, we are honestly ready to go. We have a great cast. Like, production is on point. And, like, honestly, I think, like, we are ready to go, like, for
We could
real.
go tomorrow if we had to.
Anything that we need to do.
Yeah, things have been play tested. Like we were all at Jamie's and tested things, and I'm excited.
Yeah, production literally drove from North Carolina, Illinois, Michigan, West Virginia, all different parts of Ohio to come to my place to test everything.
And you know, I'm a Michigan girl. If I'm going to Columbus, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a fun time. I mean, having been on the production for last season and on this season, I think we've elevated it another level. It's just gotten better. Yeah. And I honestly,
and it started damn high to begin with.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous of some of the tasks. I'm like, I want to do this one. And I helped put them together. So I think the players are going to have a really good time, no matter how long they're in the game. I think it's going to be just based on how season 1 and season 2 have went, the camaraderie that's going to develop is going to be insurmountable. The friendships that are going to develop will be unlike anything anybody anticipates. It still to this day blows my mind that I made so many great friends from this little 72-hour excursion. But I'm so thankful for it, and I couldn't imagine having anything different.
Yeah, Tyler has become like seriously just there's somebody like Jamie has been somebody that I'm very close to. And I've always felt like these are my people, but Tyler is now like one of those people. And I'm not just saying that, like the whole family the whole who is the mole family. Like, I know it sounds so hokey, but really we are all like, even season 1, like we all still talk a lot. Like we all do things together. Like it is incredible to me.
And I can't wait to see them destroy each other next season.
It's literal family feud.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, Tyler, Missy, thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time
you.
to talk and tease a little to what's to come. For everyone who's tuning in, you can follow Who is the Mole on their Facebook page. There will be a live viewer chat for as the season airs, as well as you'll be able to watch both challenges and executions. Thank you all for tuning in and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.